Hi everyone, David Aragona and Mike Beer here taking a look at the feature race at Saratoga on Friday, the Friday right before the Travers. The feature is the Grade 3 Waya, this one going as race 8 on that 10-race Friday card. 1.3 miles is the distance for the fillies and mares on the turf course, and you could throw up the field of 9 runners entered, Mike. I don't know what your experience was handicapping this race, but I kind of felt like this was the kind of race where I could make a case for anybody if I really wanted to. You could kind of see that from the morning line that I set, but there was no horse in this field that was kind of jumping out at me as one that I really loved in this field. So it was a tough one to sort of make picks at the end of the day.
Yeah, I like this race though. I guess maybe for that reason exactly, because I feel like you can make cases for a lot of different horses here. I think obviously trips will be important. So we'll see who gets the right one. Several different horses could win in this race, and I didn't think anybody would be too short a price there. I think you're gonna have some options on your hands here.
Yeah, I thought the two horses that could vie for favoritism were Store Miami and Silvology, but I won't be surprised if I'm wrong about that because, like I said, I could see the money going a plenty of different directions in this Waya Stakes. Let's start to go through this field from the rail out, beginning with the number 1, Evershed. Mike, I seem to remember this was a horse that you liked a little bit last year when she was a 3-year-old, a lightly raced horse coming into the Saratoga Oaks, trying the stakes company during the summer season in 2025. She ran really well that day behind Laura Lynn, who looked like one of the top 3-year-old fillies at that point in time. The form of that Saratoga Oaks probably hasn't aged that well, however, and the subsequent performances by Evershed, they leave me wanting a little bit more, Mike. I was wondering how you feel about her.
I feel the same way about her. I liked her quite a bit early on, and I really thought she had a chance to be pretty good. It just didn't happen for her. She ran fine in the Saratoga Oaks. I thought she was super disappointing when she lost her next race. I mean, I know it was on soft turf, so maybe there's an excuse, but I thought she was super disappointing there. She was bad in her next race before the layoff. She did run okay, I thought, last time when she came off the layoff at Colonial, but I didn't see a big excuse for her either. I mean, she was just kind of third best in that race, and she's going to take a step forward off of that, a pretty significant one too, I think.
She has been a little wide in the past couple of races, and she is second off a layup. She picks up Flavie and Pratt. Those are all positives, but I agree, Mike. I just haven't loved the replays of some of her recent starts. We should at least mention she's one of the few horses in this race that has some tactical speed, which might be a real important factor when you're handicapping this race because so many that we'll talk about are just pure plotters. That includes the number 2, Snipsnippitysnip, who doesn't feel like she has much early speed at all left at this point in her career. She has finished pretty well in her recent races, though. I thought that she was running on nicely behind Silvology last time out at Saratoga, maybe covering a little more ground than Silvology did because that winner did get a very nice ground-saving ride that day, whereas Snipsnippitysnip was kind of 2 to 3 wide, making her run. Watching her some of her recent races, Mike, I can make excuses because she was wide 2 and really 3 back. She would kind of made this wide run, stuck 3 wide around the turns in that Aqueduct race in June. She was arguably better than her 4th place result that day. Yeah. So I think she's a little better than she looks on paper, but I'm still not quite sure that she's quite good enough to win a race like this.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that. I mean, she's actually okay, and she'll get the distance, I think, just fine in this race. I guess the 2 starts back is one of those situations where not only was she on the outside, but it kind of felt like they picked the wrong day to try to race closer to the pace with her there because the winner came from last to win that thing, and she just got tired at the end. I thought she was okay last time. I didn't see a big excuse for her in that race, David, but she ran okay in that race.
The number 3 is Whitethorn, who is stepping up into this race off a maiden win, stepping up to a grade 3 event off having just gotten her first career victory last time out, Mike, but it was a pretty good looking win, going 1 mile and 3/8 distance for the first time. She sat well off the pace, easily moved through the pack into contention at the top of the lane, actually had to navigate some traffic and bumping when she finally got into the clear, and then pulled away pretty impressively in the late stages. We'll take a look at the replay of that here, and you can see Whitethorn pulling away from this field just far superior to the maiden group that she faced on this day. The question is, Mike, how strong was this race really, and does it make her a contender here? I don't know, but I do think she's moving in the right direction. I think her turf races just generally are better than the surrounding dirt races, and she's kind of been going back and forth between the two. So I think there's upside with this filly, but I'd certainly want a price on her if I was going to bet her in this spot.
Me too. And maybe you'll get one. I would wait and see how they bet this race, but it doesn't feel like she could take that much money, but I guess we'll see how it plays out. I'm with you. I think all 3 of her turf races, there's only 3 of them, I think they're all good, even though that was her first win last time. Listen, I don't like the field that she beat last time. I don't think that was a good field at all, but that's how you want them to win when they're facing maybe a little bit of a weaker maiden special weight field. She won that race for fun.
Yeah, and she came from way off the pace last time, but there were a couple of horses that ran off on the lead and kind of set up her late run. But she has a lot more tactical speed than that. And switching to Luis Saez, I wonder if they'll get her a little more involved in the early stages, as that pace projector would suggest. The number 4 is Maserat. I don't think she can be involved in the pace, Mike, because this filly has no early speed whatsoever. It kind of worked out for her in the race 2 back at Aqueduct, where she sat at the back of the pack and was able to make this last to first run in a race that did kind of fall apart in the late stages. She tried the Glens Falls last time. Obviously, nobody was beating the winner, Survey, that day, who came back to win the Grade 1 against the males next time. But Maserat was finishing gamely at the end of that race, just kind of picking up pieces along the rail. So it does feel like she's coming into this race in the best form of her career. I'm just not sure she's going to get the right trip.
Yeah, me too. I like her recent form quite a bit. I think each of her, they've stretched her out for the first time this distance 3 starts back, and I thought she ran well in that race. I liked her win 2 starts back. I thought she ran fine in a way tougher race last time. I really like her form. I'm not sure that she's going to get the right trip in this race.
Mike, is there a way to get to the number 5, Venencia? Because I did peg her as the biggest price on the morning line for this race, and it feels like a wide open race. So you want to give a look to a horse like this. She's got a couple races going back that I guess give her a chance in here, though one of those was over yielding ground, which makes you wonder if she needs given the ground. Her recent form, I couldn't get too excited about those races. I wonder if you have a different take.
I do not. I just don't really like her races that much. I won't knock her at, some kind of big price in this race, because as you pointed out, she does have a race or 2 that'll give her a chance in here. I just don't like her that much.
The number 6 is Storm Miami, and she's a horse that's still seeking just the 3rd victory of her career. But despite the fact that she's only been picking up minor awards, she really has been stepping forward in her performances the last several times, especially since Amelia Green has stretched her out to these marathon distances on the turf. The last 3 times she's tried them, she's run 3 of the best races of her entire career. We'll take a look at the most recent of those in the Glens Falls, where she gets run down by Survey, who, like we said, came back to run so well in the Grade 1 next time. Maserat also highlighted in this replay, but Storm Miami, she runs a pretty big race to be second, because yes, she had things her own way on the front end, but she really digs in to hold off the closers, trying to run at her through the late stages until that monster ranges up on the outside in the final 1/8 of a mile. But against the field that she's facing on Friday, Mike, once again, there's not much speed in this field, and she's getting some class relief from the prior race, so I think she's a big threat to wire this field.
I agree. I mean, there's just no way to deny that. The only mitigating factor for me is, like, we only showed you the Glens Falls there, where of course she got run over by a Grade 1 quality horse. The flip side of that is, in her prior 2 starts, she also failed to hold stretch leads, and it wasn't against a horse like that. It was just against some horses that would probably fit well in a race like this one. So I'm not sure how much credit I want to give her. I am afraid of her wiring this field out.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Mike, because I was interested in her as a 19-1 long shot last time, and now she's going to be, vying for favoritism in this race as a horse that isn't exactly trustworthy on the win end. The number 7 is Awesomesauce, and this is a horse who's won 3 of her last 5 races on the turf, so she's shown that she knows how to get to the winner's circle, a question mark for some others in this field. But the problem is those victories have generally come against lesser company, and the one time she tried a marathon distance on the turf, 2 back in the Kirtana, it didn't go so well.
It didn't. Yeah, the distance really bothers me with her. I just feel like it might not be what she really wants. And I'm kind of surprised that they're stretching her back out again for this race, because I'm pretty sure we did a preview for a stakes race in Canada not long ago that she was entered in. And I wish they ran her in that race, because I thought she was going to be really competitive in there. And obviously they didn't do that. I'll just say this about her. I think she's pretty good. First of all, I want to say that I think she's pretty good. And I think she's better than she looks on paper. When they stretched her out 2 starts back, she doesn't have the right running style, I don't think, to go this far. I don't know if you agree with this or not. Having watched all her races, she's not like a plotter from the gate. She gets out, she breaks with the field. In all of her races, she loses ground early and winds up last. And then when they went the 1.5 mile 2 back, she just tried to make this early move up the backstretch, passed a bunch of horses, got all the way up in behind the lead, and then just didn't have anything left when they got into the stretch. You cannot win races like this being ridden like that. And I also am not sure that she could win one if they just take her back to last and try to make one run. I think she's good, David. I wish they would have went in a shorter race with her.
Yeah, she was a tough one. I don't love the fields that she's beaten, and I kind of felt like she was supposed to be maybe a 15-1 shot in this race, and she's not going to be because of who's riding her, Jose Ortiz. The number 8 is Silvology. She does kind of feel like the one to beat in here, Mike, because she showed that she was a pretty good turf marathoner early in the 2025 season when they finally got her maiden broken and stretched her out to these longer distances. She ran really well in races like the Grade 3 Orchid and the Grade 3 Sheepshead Bay before, for some reason, going to the sidelines and missing a ton of time. And yeah, she didn't run great off the layoff, but she probably needed that race back in June. She ran a lot better last time. We'll take a look at the stretch run of this replay as they got her back out to one of these marathon distances. And this was a great ride from Dylan Davis, saving ground most of the way, picking his way through traffic, but she also took him there with a big turn of foot through the stretch. If she runs back to this kind of race or improves on it, she's going to be tough right back against Stakes Company.
Yeah, that's what I think. I just think she's the horse to beat in here. And maybe the race won't, maybe they won't bet it that way, like that she's kind of, a clear horse to beat in this race. Maybe they'll go for a couple other horses too. Her form from early last year before the layoff, I think sort of pointed her out as a horse who had a lot of potential in races like this. It didn't happen for her. I think they were obviously prepping her in that shorter race off the long layoff, and she took a big step forward last time. She got a great trip in that race, but she really ran. I think she's the horse to beat in here.
And rounding out this field is the number 9, Unmerited Favor. This is a horse who tried Stakes Company a couple times last time and then going back to her 3-year-old season. The last race, Mike, I thought she got a very good trip where she was saving ground early, tried to make a move to challenge the leader in upper stretch before getting overtaken by the closers, but that was only going 1.1 miles. If you go back to some of her marathon races, the races at 1.25 miles and beyond, you can make the argument that those are the best performances of her career. So I like her stretching back out to this distance, and I think she's going to run a little better than last time, but she's drawn outside. She's another one with very little early speed. So you do wonder what kind of trip is coming for her.
Yeah, I agree, though. I mean, I feel like stretching out could really work for her. Listen, I was disappointed in how she ran last time. So I didn't feel like that was a super tough field for her. And I thought overall she got the right trip. I thought she was kind of disappointing, but maybe she just wants to go longer. Her distance races are good. And as opposed to some of the other horses we've talked about, yeah, she's not going to be on the pace, but she's not a one-run closer. I think she can land sort of midfield in a race like this one and still get herself into contention in time. I'm going to use this horse.
Let's go to our picks for this Friday feature, the Grade 3 Waya. And Mike, it feels like a wide open race, but sounds like you've got a pretty strong opinion in this one.
Yeah, listen, I like Silvology. I think this is a great spot for her, and I think she can get the right trip. Another horse who's not a speed, but she's not going to be last early in this race. She's going to be sort of mid-pack. I just like her form. I think this is a great spot for her. I put the speed horse second in this race. I think she will be on the lead in the stretch, and I'm going to hope that Silvology can run her down. And I want to use McPeak's horse on the outside, Unmerited Favor, stretching back out here.
Yep, I've got Silvology in there. I think she's logical. I thought Snipsnippitysnip was an intriguing long shot. I've got the speed in there as well. But I just thought Whitethorn was a horse that was moving in the right direction. Like you said, I think her turf races are a little underrated, and maybe she's unlocked some new potential going these longer distances on the turf. So at least hoping for a fair price of maybe 8-1 or higher on her. 3-6-2-8 for me and 8-6-9-4 for Mike in the Grade 3 Waya on Friday at Saratoga. Good luck if you're playing the races later this week.